Test, 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 test. Test, 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 test. Test, 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 test. Test, 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 test. Test, 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 test. Test, 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 test. Test, 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 test. Test, 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 test. test, 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 test. Test 1, 2, 3, test, 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 1, 2, 3, test. Testing 1, 2, 3, test, 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 testing 1, 2, 3, test. Loud, soft, soft, loud. Test, 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 test. Test, 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 1, 2, 3, test, 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 test. Test, 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 test. Are you distorted? Test, 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 test. Test, 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 test. 1, 2, 3, test, 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 test. test, 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 test. Are you distorted and blown out? Test, test. Test, 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 test. Test, 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 distortion, test, 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 test. Test, 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 distortion, test, 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 quiet, quiet, loud, loud, test, test. Normal voice at the screen. Can you hear me? Is this too soft? Do I need to boost it more? Test, 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 test. Volume level test. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stimmen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Test 1, 2. Distortion test. 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 Test, 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 test. Test. Test, 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 test. Are you fucking... Why is there leg? There's leg. Why is that legging? It shouldn't be legging. test, 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 test. Test, 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 test. That's what I get for trying to press two things at once. Trying to use the mouse keyboard and fucking the hotkey. Doesn't work all that well. Wonder why that did that. If you just stand there in this game, you're going to get hit. There's a pause in between your attacks. Not very long, but long enough. Come on, bitch. And I'm doing this right out of the newbie area. Essentially just came from the newbie area. Did the quest down here, and now I'm just up here because they drop loot and give me XP. Yeah, this game used to be a lot fucking harder than this. It's too easy. At lower levels, you start running into mobs that train on your ass and stun you and do all that other crap. You're kind of screwed. Hopefully they haven't removed that. But I was going to do a couple of videos on this. And just get my settings straight. Make sure that the audio, the video on YouTube Band Kick was looking good and sounding good. That's the purpose of this. I mean, I do see there are people watching, that's why I'm talking. But one thing when you're dealing with multiple mobs, you want to move around the board, around the screen. Because you can stay out of range of melee. And so there could be 10 fuckers on the screen. And by maneuvering them and pathing them correctly, you could only get hit by, you know, say 2, maybe 3, maybe even 1. That's why you don't stand still. That and the pause between, hence weapon dependent. But that's why you don't stand still. I'll show you what happens when you stand still. If I can find another mob down here somewhere. They spawn pretty quick, so. I gotta get my butcher score up so I can cut them up and get meat. Pork meat. At least I think they're orcs. Come on, spawn. Just zoom out and watch. Yeah, go ahead, prove. There we go. I was gonna say, go ahead, prove me wrong. Prove that there's that spawn is slower. But here's what happens if you stand still. Now, Grant, I got armor on. But again, something that can hit you. Especially if there's more than one. You can take a lot of damage pretty quick. And this game is the classic. If you don't have a healer, you're relying on potions, bandages, and stuff like that. That suck. Which is one of the reasons why I get a little bit of intelligence and work on spell casting just enough to get a heal. Basically make him kind of like a paladin. Where he can self-heal. If this one hits me. Actually, I won't swing. Yeah, he's just missing. Before I turned in this quest and got the armor that I'm wearing right now, these guys would, every swing, were hitting for like 8 to 10. And so if they're doing 8 to 10 on every swing, and you've got, 3 to 5 in your vicinity all swinging at you at once, your health just drops quick as shit. He never stands still. Yeah, see, now he's hitting me. Not for as much damage, and it's fucking up my armor by just standing there. So, this is how you do this with a fighter class or a melee class. Especially if it has a long delay, if you're using like a, like Scythe or War Axe or something like that. So to two-handers, you can get a couple second delay in between your swing. But I'm thinking this will be a decent review. Go back and listen to this. I think I got all the kinks out of it, both in the mic, the volume, sounds. Although I don't know if I adjusted this game. It's at 100%. So that may or may not be loud. But I do have the output to input volume reduced. So I'm controlling it with a different piece of software. So I don't have to do it with every single game. That's one of the things I wanted to try. And if you would have a reason to do that, whether you stream, make videos, or just for regular use, you're a gamer. Voice meter banana. Look it up. If my taming was up, I could tame this horse. Yeah, I have like shit for skills on this character because they're new. Yeah, see, and you got shepherds down here. Damn, these fuckers are loud. Those damn chickens. Good volume test, though. That's how you can tell that no one's been on for a while. Although those, like I was saying, they're not just wild. They've got shepherds. And I'm not sure if this is with inside. I would suspect that it would be in town vicinity, but not earshot of a guard. But you definitely take a hit if you start killing those cow, sheep, and chickens, because they have, like I said, they have the shepherds next to them. They might actually even attack you. I forget if they do or would, but I know you would take a hit to your rapport. But this is a lot of food, feathers, stuff you can make cloth out of, leather. Lots of reasons why you'd want to kill all this if your crafting was up. But like I said, I just came out of the newbie area, so I got squat for skills. What I need to do is go get a primer for lumberjacking and start cutting down trees to buff my strength. Get that up where it should. I was getting a couple of plate drops from these things too. I got the backpack chat and targeting and all that. Basically using the new rules, not the original. Otherwise, all this would be just lumped in there, and I'd have to dig through it. So it's a definite improvement that they can segment and stack. So I got a pickaxe, and the pickaxe you can use to mine. Nothing else right now that's worth anything. Thinking maybe it was gonna be dropping some more play. I think it's the gauntlets, yeah. Gauntlet, or not, yeah, gauntlet. What I usually do is hunt undead, both for bone armor, plate. But they're down here, so. I wandered too close. I don't even know if I can even skin this thing. I don't have any shear. Got wool from doing that. I don't think there's anything. Usually do it just once. Oh, I know what I need. I need the cleaver to get the should have a cleaver in here somewhere. Someone give me wool. Which is probably a skill thing. It's kind of funny that the cleaver will get the wool now. Usually you gotta use a skinning knife, and for sheep you generally gotta use shears. Maybe they can bind it all into one. Man, quick minute since I played this game, so. Was playing this game, both the closed beta, open beta, and then the when it went live. Played it maybe once before a couple of years ago. They've made changes. Arms lore, which is, yeah, 0%. Tell me you have no idea. You basically got prime everything. If you got at least 1 point in the skill, it will increase every time you do it. To prime something from 0%, at least the way it used to be, you probably have to do it like 50 to 100 times before it starts adding to your skill. It does, or it did, keep track of it. I usually want to go talk to the trainer and at least get the beginner level of things that you want to do, especially for crafting. And when I do play this and people can watch, I will be starting a new character. And I do like the noob area, the way that they filled it out. I just got plate here. That's hand. On, quit messing. Go back to my sword. What I really need to do is get a Viking sword. I'll work on my hotkey. But yeah, anyway, I had a lot of fun with the new characters in the newbie area. So I definitely want to stream that as the start point. Like this said, just testing. Don't expect much. Where was that our SOB? This. I could have sworn there was one more that I had to. This is where chat would be helpful. I guess I looted all of them. Anyway, play. Definitely take that. Even though my strength would go up a lot quicker. That two-handed axe. This one's quicker and I got more skill on the blade. As I sit here and miss. Plus you can equip the shield. And I also could have swore there was maybe it was a macro that I'm thinking about. Start a bonfire. Makes it so that the one, you can use it to cook, and two, it makes a safe campsite where you can log out safely. Sure, you can definitely still cook with it. Yeah, here he comes, bastard. But right now I'm having to double click it. Maybe that was all the blue ones are interactable, and the R ones just are your base skill that don't have an action associated with them. Not a skill. Yep, but I like the all the crafting stuff and all the training stuff. Ships. It used to be that you didn't have teleports. That to like island hop from the main continent, you had to have a ship. And then like going from one port to another port. So they got sea monsters and all that kind of business out there too that you can run into. And this is normal interaction, even though I'm standing way over here. Eventually, the mob, if I can see them on screen, sometimes from off screen, they'll start wandering towards your player. can eventually attack you. If I could get this campfire down, that'd be different. You know, remember slash command. And you can throw it into a macro because it doesn't look like there's an action for it. So, I mean, I do remember clicking back when, but I also remember that you could drag this in your toolbar. And as long as you had kindling, you know, firewood, that would start a fire. Now you can see it's grayed out, so it doesn't do anything. Like a torch, you have to have an unclicked one and then a inactive and an active one. You notice that it doesn't matter. I got a 2 count because I got 2 torches in my pack, so we'll pull one of them and trade it out for the shield. And then when you go back, you know, you can use this to go back, but then you have to re-equip your shield also. Likewise, if I want to use potions, I have to have a hand. That's what that allows for. And then you gotta go back. But anyway, I gotta remap all my keys. Or just drag one of my save configurations from my main character. That I've already got everything else set up. And hopefully it transfers over. What you used to do is macro, so you'd offline or AFK stat build, but you usually wouldn't do it like out in the open like this. You get ganked. You go get like the cheapest house, put your character in the house, and then have them, using a macro build like meditate. If you had a vendor, then you could use eval, intelligence, and all this kind of stuff. Throw it all in a macro, basically build your skills. Because it used to and probably does still take a long time. As you can see by this, I can't even light a campfire right. But I do think that's under the cooking skill. And you can do it this way, it just takes a hell of a long time. Now I'm doing a spam clicking on the kindling to try and start a If I remember correctly, I mean, it should have already done something. Well, it doesn't take that damn long. But basically, if you use a dagger on a tree is how you get that kindling. I could probably just stay down there and farm those orcs down there, and I'll set a plate eventually. And let's see, want to, where the hell is the inn? Used to know all this crap by heart. At least in the main cities and towns. Didn't have to look at a map. But one of the things that I always did also, going in, going to room, I was outside of the housing area, then hide. have no hiding skill. If you hide unless you were searched for, it was the safe logout, because thieves can pick your pocket. So you go into an inn so you wouldn't get ganked, or make a campfire and then hide. No one could rob you while you're logging out, or AFK. And also you couldn't, you wouldn't get ganked. Have like no skill. Yeah, so before I do any kind of streaming with this, I have to set up all my keybinds and do all that kind of business, and get some of these skills going up. Although starting a fresh character, I'll have to do it, but more than likely I'd do that off cam. And again, just testing, but I think this will be a good test. See if the sound sounds okay. I've got both YouTube and Kick surround sound, and it seems to be, well, Kick anyway, seems to pick up every once in a while and go to stream in 2.1 instead of like 6.1, 7.1, 5.1. But all you gotta do is refresh or skip ahead in the playback, and it will rehitch the surround sound. And then I've still got 2K on YouTube, and limited to 1920, but I did stick it at instead of 1024, I put it at 800 to get the widescreen effect. And as long as the mic is sounding good and stuff like that, next time you see anything on here, I do notice that some people are watching, so have a good one. Hope you all have a great day. Peace.